Every evening, the sun disappears, and each morning it returns, a confirmation that all is well and life can continue on planet Earth. Tracked across the heavens and revered through the ages, the sun is our inspiration and our destiny. When the sun vanishes from the sky above, every creature must pause and pay heed. The port city of La Paz, Mexico. First settled by the conquistador Hernan Cortez in 1535, it used to attract foreigners for its pearls, its gold, and its silver. But this year, on July 11th, it will play host to astronomers and other scientists from all over the world as they come to witness the greatest light show on Earth, a total solar eclipse. Because of its location in the path of the moon's shadow, and the fact that the eclipse occurs here only minutes before the sun's zenith at midday, La Paz will witness an almost unprecedented 6 minutes and 27 seconds of totality. As visitors begin to arrive for the third longest eclipse of the century, the people of La Paz are ready to welcome them.
Apart from the thousand-mile race that we have every other year from Tijuana to La Paz, this is the most important event, touristic event and scientific event in the history of Baja California Sur. And really, we are going to be in the eyes and ears of the world for a few hours or a few days. People making plans to come to La Paz. They never thought that this was a peninsula that is 200 kilometers longer than Italy. And how big this land is really the last frontier of the Western Hemisphere.
Striking the Earth at dawn just west of Hawaii, the moon's shadow will travel across the Pacific Ocean at a speed of 1.5 miles per second. Crossing Baja California an hour and 20 minutes later, it will continue southeast across Mexico and Central America, disappearing in the Amazon jungle 3 hours and 29 minutes after its first appearance in the Western Pacific.
I think it's gonna get dark like really fast, like the moon's gonna cover up the sun and then all these cockroaches are gonna come out.
Well, the moon is gonna move between the sun and the earth, and in the middle of the day it's just gonna get dark.
This is the first eclipse I've been to where there have been so many just ordinary folks, tourists coming, and the people have been so well prepared for it.
Sí, el gobierno ha hecho mucho programa de cada dote. Ayer, antier vinieron a prevenirnos.
Pues también porque dicen que no puede ver el sol uno porque es malo.
Que todos los niños cuiden sus ojos, que no vean tanto así porque se pueden quedar ciegos.
It's funny that how we start receiving so many calls from all over the world, making reservations for the eclipse. Sometimes people calling that they wanted 500 rooms and 600 rooms, and we tell them we only have about 800 rooms total in La Paz, and all is completely booked.
Expecting anything from 10 to 20,000 extra visitors, the local authorities have stored emergency supplies of food, water, and gasoline. They have also brought in 150 patrol cars to control traffic on the peninsula.
Therefore, in this port city of La Paz, capital of the state of Baja California Sur, this 8th day of July of 1991, I officially declare open the works of this Symposium for Research Amateur Astronomers. Thank you very much.
Alberto Levy, president of the Astronomy Society of Mexico, welcomes Stephen Edberg, NASA astronomer and science coordinator on the Galileo project, to Jupiter.
Thank you, Alberto. The purpose of this symposium is cooperation. It's cooperation between amateur astronomers and professional astronomers. And we look forward here to both a very successful symposium and on Thursday, midday, a very, very successful total solar eclipse. Gracias.
For most of our distant ancestors, a solar eclipse was a time of fear and foreboding. Yet for more than 3,000 years, man has kept a careful record of these celestial events. In China, Babylon, Greece, and Mexico, ancient civilizations left ample evidence of their observations and predictions. In the early days of science, scholars were limited by the equipment available. But as technology improved, astronomers and the public alike were able to observe features in the heavens which had previously been invisible from Earth. By the middle of the 19th century, technology had advanced to the point where scientists could travel around the world to observe eclipses and gather data. This was the golden age of eclipse chasing, and important discoveries were made about the nature of the sun and its atmosphere. In 1919, observations at a solar eclipse confirmed Einstein's theory of relativity, and scientific interest in eclipses seemed to reach new heights. With the development of spaceflight, solar eclipses have become less important for scientific research. But they still offer a unique opportunity to study the sun's atmosphere and search for clues about the structure of the universe.
Well, this will be my third eclipse.
Fifth total and plus one annually.
Oh, well, this is the 10th. I can't imagine why everybody in the world isn't here, to be perfectly honest with you, because it is just really an extraordinary, almost spiritual event.
I just think it's going to be like the Grateful Dead, and I'm going to end up chasing these things all over the planet.
In 1979, up in Washington.
In 61 in Italy.
Brandon, Manitoba.
2 in Maine, and Minnesota, Colombia, Java, Africa, Atlanta, Virginia.
The most exciting eclipse was the last one in the northeastern part of Siberia, in Chesky, because we observed it from a plane. And we were clouded out, and we got a military aircraft from the Russians, a transport aircraft.
I took a ship out of the Caribbean, and we sailed to the, I'd call Middle Atlantic, about 250 miles off of the coast of South America, saw about a 2-minute and 30-second eclipse.
We drove all the way down from Chicago, Illinois. Well, actually a little west of Chicago, but we drove down through Texas, and then we drove through Arizona, New Mexico, then stopped off in Southern California to pick up my brother, Pete, and then we just drove all the way down Highway 1.
I'm from Paris.
Well, I'm from Hong Kong.
I'm from Holland.
I come from Manchester, England, of course.
My first total eclipse was in 1970. That's almost 21 years ago. And the impression that it left on me, it's still vivid.
What I remember more was the terrific approach of the shadow before the eclipse, which was kind of frightening. It's like an enormous thundercloud front approaching from horizon to horizon, came zipping right up, and then it got rather cold during the eclipse. I remember that.
And it got about as dark as late twilight. You could see Venus, Jupiter, most of your major brighter first and second magnitude stars. The corona was ablaze with many flares, and the diamond ring effect came very sudden. It's very bright and seemed to linger for just a few seconds. And then the Baily's beads appeared, and steadily the moon moved away, moved off the face of the sun, and it steadily got brighter and brighter, just like the sun comes up in the morning.
I saw one in Canada in 1979 in Winnipeg, and that had the most beautiful protuberances, those outbursts on the sun. And they are very intrinsically, very, very red. With the naked eye, it's like red tongues on the edge of the moon.
The last minute before second contact, before totality, then the last sliver of the sun is going more rapidly and rapidly down to a point, to a sparkling star. And during that seconds, you can see the corona on the other side, so it becomes a diamond ring.
It's more than just the physical action of watching the moon go in front of the sun. That's beautiful. It's really beautiful, an experience everybody should have, and most people can get in their lifetime without going too far. But those of us who chase after them and go to 4, 5, 8, 12 eclipses are people who are looking for more than just that little physical bit of science.
For weeks before the eclipse, a soccer field at the University of Baja California Sur has become the base for scientists from 17 different countries. Adjusting to daytime temperatures of over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, they set up their equipment and prepare their experiments. Mexican television is broadcasting daily from the university as the big event builds up. And everywhere you look, there are TV crews and film cameras. Among them is Tom Barron, who shoots special effects for Star Trek and is responsible for the eclipse shots on this film.
Okay, stand by to stop. Okay, back again. Okay, that's real nice.
It's really hot here.
They're probably checking the spectrum right now, since they've got some sunlight.
Yeah, and what is happening, the monitor is inside the building.
That's right.
Okay. Now, he's communicating with the girl that's looking at the monitor and giving her feedback on what's the image.
That's right. And I feel sorry for her if she's going to be stuck in a building
and
during totality.
That's right.
I mean, that's not the way you should come to see an eclipse.
I drove in about 23 people from Holland. There's about 23 from Holland and about 2 French people.
Yeah, this place is littered with foreigners. Next to us, obviously, we have the huge Japanese contingent. There's a lot of activity, and there seems to be a ranking of members depending on which uniforms they're wearing. very much stratified. We have these gray guys that look like they're shipping and handling people. And then I believe there's also a tour group as well. You can see their big van over there. They're very well prepared. But they have a number of experiments, and I have the impression that they've only begun at this point. We have Czechs, we have Puerto Ricans, we have Germans, we have a setup of people from the Philippines, I believe. Everyone has flags. We haven't put our flag up yet. We're telling people we're from Hollywood. Now, the Mexicans have chosen to climb up on the edges of the building, which probably implies that they'll either be filming the oncoming shadow or filming us filming them. Okay, I was explaining to them about our two sets of Russians here. We have Georgians on the right and we have Muscovites on the left. The Muscovites, we're calling him Dr. Koronovich. He has a litter of boxes there. All came from the Soviet Union and parts of Amsterdam, each with an experiment, each made by a different scientist, so that each one requires separate adjustment. And Dr. Koronovich came over here this morning and he told me, he said, you know, these designers, they should use this equipment themselves. When it gets very hot in the day, they come out, and they come out naked. And I think it has something to do with the poaching effect that they're working on. There's also a lot of action inside a black bag. I frequently see heads in a black bag, and they have very little sunshade. But seriously, a lot of this is real science. I mean, a lot of these guys, like these crazy Russians, have a very esoteric spectrometer experiment. And from our sources, basically what we found out is that the professional astronomers really don't have time, and in this short event that happens here, and sunspots and solar flares and solar prominences are very important. So hopefully all of this information will all go back and help us to understand the sun. So, you know, there's serious as well as playful things.
We want to observe the emission of so-called resonance fluorescence of the ions and atoms of circumsolar dust grains. That's all.
Other thing is, it's a rather unique thing maybe in our universe, because the total eclipse happens because the moon and the sun has the same diameter on the sky. It has to do with the ratio, distance, Earth, sun, etc. And of course we have the planet Mars with moons, but there you will never see a total eclipse. So it's, if you think it over at a good moment, it's probably only a few places in the universe where we have a star, a planet around it, and a moon in the correct proportions to see a star eclipse.
Hearing that Dr. Koronovich has no film for his 16mm camera, Tom Barron sends his assistant on a diplomatic mission.
Edward.
Yes? Yes? How do you?
Hi. You asked for some short ends of film the other day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, well, would you like to see camera?
Yes, very much.
Slava, где наша камера? What film?
16mm.
16mm.
Yes.
We shall come here with it, but of course, we also would like to make you a gift. There is a little bottle with something specific Russian.
Thank you very much. We also brought along a gift.
Thank you.
Shirt for you.
Very nice.
And the film, this is ASA 100. Oh, Russian vodka.
Specific Russian.
Very specific. Thank you very much.
Very much. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be able to work for all of us.
Your collaboration.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice thing of astronomy is this international cooperation. And you can say Washington is belonging to the US, Moscow to the Soviets, Amsterdam to Holland, but the universe is of our all. And so we cannot fight about that, but we have to cooperate and to explore our knowledge and to know more about our origin and why are we here.
This is a study that has been going on for roughly about as long as I have been working in astronomy. So there's no answer in that area yet, although it's something that people like to think about, and there's quite a lot of controversy about it.
Así que en esta área pues no hay todavía una respuesta concreta, aunque es algo que a la gente inquieta mucho.
y es muy interesante.
Now, I think your second question has to do with the formation of the universe.
Creo que su segunda pregunta se refería a la formación del universo.
Possibly by a higher being, and that's really, I think, something that I would like to pass on. It's certainly a good question, but I really think that it is one that I would have difficulty in answering.
Por supuesto, creo que es una buena pregunta, pero creo que me resultaría muy difícil contestar.
The day before the eclipse, vacationers at Cabo San Lucas are taking trips around the bay and practicing their volleyball. But back in La Paz, it is a time for tough decisions.
You know, you agonize, where do I go?
We'll probably observe it from right here rather than go to one of those other locations where the total eclipse is going to occur, because there'll be plenty of people there. They don't need us.
So everybody would tend to gravitate where the center of totality is. Now that's wonderful if you're looking for that, but within 50, 80 kilometers from the center of totality, the spectacle is almost identical.
When we saw this as the center line, and it's being advertised as the center line, well, it's, you know, something you can go back home and say, yeah, I viewed it from the middle.
Exactamente, lo que es en esta franja y en Los Cabos va a ser lo máximo del eclipse.
I hope there are going to be more people, because I thought there would be a crowd here.
There's 2 more minutes of eclipse here. Why go to Hawaii to watch 4 minutes at twice the cost when you can come to Mexico and get the maximum effect?
So if you're slightly off center, then you have all the subsidiary effects like Baily's beads and the prominences and all that are going to be even better on a place like La Paz.
Well, I think I will have to watch it here in my office.
The 2 head honcho astronomers finally revealed to us their secret plan, which was to come up here and to work where it's beautiful.
Right here outside the Palapa. It's as good a place as any.
Well, you know, we're a group of about 20 or 30 people, and there's a big debate because we decided to ask them, well, where do you want to watch it, you know?
I'm probably going to be on the beach just to the south of here.
They picked a point up on the hill because they felt it was the best place.
So some of us said the boat, and others in Israel said, no, I want to be in land. And so we're letting everybody go their own way.
So we made up our minds, we're going to stay here.
Eclipse Eve, and we are only hours away from seeing nearly 6.5 minutes of darkness at high noon. If the weather cooperates, we will all see the longest total eclipse for the next 141 years. While some worry about clouds on the horizon, others go down into La Paz to share in the growing excitement. To everyone's relief and delight, E-Day dawns bright and clear. In the pristine Baja environment, all is ready for nature's greatest spectacle.
Number 3, stand by no later than 11:46 a.m. That's your yellow alert. Right. Then number 4, relax like a cat. That's the most important part. 5, your red alert time is 11:48 a.m. You'll fire your cable releases, appreciate the totality, and if you wish to shoot it on the way away, you do that at 11:55.
Will I have warning about the impending departure of the shadow, or it'll happen as quickly as it comes?
This is the best warning you're going to get.
The trouble, in a way, with this eclipse and where we are is that the shadow is going to is almost vertical on us. We're very close to local noon when the eclipse occurs. And in that situation, the shadow is simply going to engulf us in a swath that covers 160 miles in geography. And so it ought to be coming from this direction.
Shadow path is the center line here, and the width of the shadow line has its northern and southern limits. And so the mountaintop where Enrico will be set up right here.
With the weather, I'm greatly relieved compared to what I saw 2 days ago, and I think we're going to be fine.
And this one, of course, is turning out perfectly, right?
Blank out, yeah, and then you see the shadow from this way. If you want to film it, I mean, you can be able to see it. What?
All around La Paz, eclipse chasers are spread out, watching and waiting. The moon will begin to cover the sun at 10:23 local time, but it will take another hour and 24 minutes before the start of totality. Some pass the time photographing the local fauna, while others venture farther afield to get away from the crowds and closer to nature.
The little baby ones are pretty friendly.
There we go. Perfect.
No, a little bit more this way.
Okay, look at the moon. And she says, it's the sun, for Christ's sake.
We're making our first run to the bathroom.
Of course, Shakespeare, tells it all. Talks about eclipses, too.
Well, basically, my father is trying to photograph the eclipse in 3 different ways. He's trying to get it on video and on a telephoto camera and a different camera, which is connected to a telescope.
Here's the curve for the intro on that camera 3. Where we wanted to hit a certain thing, then
Right.
he's on this one here.
Right. I say I'm connected with the Jet Propulsion Laboratory now. We're working on the interplanetary spacecraft, and there are several of us here, but it's really just for background and appreciation for what the eclipse means and that sort of thing.
In 1927, my mother refused to allow me to go to see one, which was more or less centered over Manchester. She thought it was dangerous to the eyes and so on. So she said, you have plenty of time to see another one. This is it.
At the tone 17 hours, 13 minutes Coordinated Universal Time.
WWV, which is broadcasted Universal Time, Greenwich Mean Time, out of Colorado and out of Hawaii. We're picking that up for accurate time measurements.
Und du kannst also Viertelstunde später oder so vielleicht noch mal versuchen, wenn Zeit und Lust hast.
You got to do it really slow, Peter.
Hold on, wait till let's get the exposure right first.
Tegengewicht, oké.
Zo.
Zo, wat zet een stuk не упадет прямо на...
80 miles away in Cabo, tourists are scrambling onto rooftops and staking out their vantage points, all in readiness for the big show.
I feel that during the solar eclipse, centuries and centuries of civilizations are going to be here at the same time in their spirit and mind. And so it's sort of like visiting pyramids in Mexico or in Egypt, and you just feel like everyone is there, all the spirits and dead people are there.
This has been hanging in my garage for 12 years.
At the tone 17 hours, 24 minutes Coordinated Universal Time.
As the moon takes its first bite out of the sun, the countdown to totality begins. The magic number is 18:47 and 40 seconds Coordinated Universal Time. 1 hour and 24 minutes to go.
We'll align this one with his video tap. I'll align this one by eye and this one by eye.
Okay. My only previous eclipse was the one in 1970 in Oaxaca.
We hope to photograph the shadow bands as they flit across the screen.
And so I was ready. I had the camera and I was all set, and suddenly the totality started, and I was so overwhelmed. It was so emotional. I started crying.
So this time, if they come across the screen, this is marked off in 2-inch increments.
I have all my marks ready, and the camera, and I only have to wait for the shadow bands and the tears. I think that's the combination. If you don't have both, they don't come out.
At the tone 17 hours, 42 minutes, coordinated universal time.
We can just watch it drift.
Yeah.
West is this way. Take a look. You'll see it drifting.
Okay, persuader ready?
You want to go which
Persuade down. More. Deep force. Yeah, down.
Yes, go ahead. In that blue...
Right, hold it.
Basically, we make the pinholes that way and then hold it perpendicular to the sun so that it casts a shadow. And each one acts as an aperture. We just had a contest to see who could make the biggest number of pinhole, and I came up with 10. There is an optimum position depending upon the size of the hole. They look like little seagulls.
Oh, that is so cool.
And if you look in the shade of the trees,
You can see them all.
many, and it's very spectacular because they can be thousands.
Oh, there it is. That's the eclipse.
Where? Why not? Is that this too?
The pinhole, see the round sun with the shadow out of it?
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, again, don't destroy the rest of your life.
No creep. It's going to eat those 3 sunspots pretty soon. Yeah, I think so.
At the tone 18 hours, 5 minutes, coordinated universal time.
Pues él es maestro de fotografía de la Universidad de Tijuana.
This camera will turn over immediately. Yeah, stand by. You're not doing nothing. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, roll. Okay, that's fine.
Stop mine also.
Okay, let's go through our filter change. Toward.
Okay.
Stand by. Okay. Swing on.
Slide out.
It's rough.
Well, I know you can't. Look up at the sun.
You can actually focus it? Yeah.
Right now it's about 11:34 minutes. Usually this time of year we have about 85, maybe 90 degrees. But right now it looks like 7 o'clock at night. So we have a substantial decrease on temperature today.
The frigates, during the day, they fly miles and miles outside of the coast. The nighttime, they come in to sleep on the hill. Now for them, is the time is going to be dark and pretty soon, and that is why they come into, it's going to be their night.
11 minutes.
At the tone 18 hours, 34 minutes, coordinated universal time.
Guys, hey.
Get away.
Michael, go to save that plane. Over there by the pool. Stand over there by the pool. This is not a place to play.
John, how do I do 10,000 megahertz?
You couldn't find a titty gram.
9 minutes, 15 seconds, and counting.
Looking good.
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen very fast.
Oh, that's bad. You see like you see the moon right in front of it.
looks weird. It's all gray, purple. It looks like the winter of the summer.
Well, just that it's not like the sun's not really bright. I mean, it's really light out. You know there's sun. but
Yeah,
it's
for
just-
midday.
Yeah, it's just really feels really strange.
The light is very gray and kind of eerie, spooky.
Get the camera off.
Come on, son. I'm afraid to look. Come on.
This is not a place to
Sit
play.
right. Honey, you can really see it now.
Oh my God.
Next eclipse, I'm
You can see it great, but you know, the only bad thing is then you're looking at straight in your own eyes and you look down.
Yeah.
Starting to feel like evening. It's
Yeah,
cooling
it is
down.
actually. Kind of like sunset.
It's cold.
I think it's a very cooling effect.
Oh, there it is. See the heat? Oh,
Yeah, there it is.
Where?
Right, exactly. They're videoing.
There they are. They are. There they are. Where?
Look here, you look here, it's bright.
Coming. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Look at the shadow. The shadow is coming. The shadow is coming.
Yeah.
Trust me.
You can see it in the sky.
30 seconds.
It is really getting dark out there. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at Venus at the other end. You see
Where do you
Venus?
see the shadow?
Oh, Venus. Shadow, it's here already. Look at the sky here, and look at the sky here, and look straight ahead, and it's all this is engulfing us. Yeah, look at the thing in the sky, the volcano.
Corona! Cover the kids. Corona!
Okay, here it goes, folks.
I'll start counting down at 20 seconds.
Come on, baby. We can. Up, 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 up.
30
Out,
seconds.
out. Don't walk in here. I got wires.
Baily's feet, diamond ring. Look at that. Whoa! Look up, guys. Look up.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Look at that. You don't have to take a picture. Wow. This is great. Look at this. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Mars.
You know,
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You can see on both sides, the light shooting out on both sides.
in Egypt, they used to see those streaks coming out the sides. I'm not seeing that here. See, you see it a little bit?
Now you can. Yes, you can.
If you know, coming out the right. See how it lengthens?
Oh. That's magic. That's incredible. Can you imagine?
Totally black.
And Alexander the Great saw such a thing.
Lights are coming on in the city.
When you supposed to? It's truly awesome. Absolutely.
If you use the glasses, you don't see anything. It's solid. Hold it up. Hold it up to it. Sorry? You shouldn't really.
Are we going to be in total blackness for 6 minutes?
the horizon.
Wow.
See the sunset?
Unbelievable.
The only time you ever see the sunset with the sun up there, Alana.
Yeah.
Look at the flares. Jesus
Again, some long
flares are just incredible.
You getting some of this, Jim?
Got it, got it.
You see the red prominences with the...
Are you snapping this? This is like spring.
Sorry, if we're supposed to have a great flare. Great corona. There.
I think obviously we can pitch trucking. Never thought about the street lights. It's wonderful.
Absolutely great.
It doesn't feel so eerie anymore. You see now, it was feeling eerie there for a while.
You gotta sacrifice it.
We are in Mexico, you know. Oh. Someone ripped their heart out.
Outside.
Absolutely like a ruby.
And it's enormous. I mean, that's expanded in just a few minutes.
Yes, while we're watching it. Lily, take a look at it. It looks like a ruby in the end of the sun.
I know, I've been watching that.
Well, this is such a long eclipse, you have time for a nap. Where's Orion? Anybody see it? What a tremendous corona. And very polarized. Look at, and a brilliant prominence there on the limb. It's just fabulous. I finished a roll of film trying to get it. Symmetry? Polarized? God, look at that. Look at that corona. Ready. What? Chromosphere. Chromosphere! Chromosphere! Contact! Woo! Filters on! I don't believe it. Filters on! It's all over! But it was fabulous! Woo! I had problems and I went by hand. But a beautiful prominence is all over. A huge corona, very beautiful. I could see it through the eyepiece. I mean, I had, just by looking at it, more satisfaction. I don't know, maybe the photographs would come or not. Oh, I guess this one's not gonna work. I had the camera, I never got the cover off.
We got everything on one camera, but our other two cameras were giving us there was poltergeist working.
There were two streamers sticking out, and it was just I'm just blown away. It was a fabulous corona, the prominence, giant naked eye prominence, and then with binoculars seeing the chromosphere come. Boy, I couldn't ask for a better show. I could ask for a longer one, though.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Oh, it was absolutely outstanding.
It was great.
Absolutely awesome.
It was pretty amazing.
It happened too fast.
Well, it's amazing how fast 6 minutes can pass, but it was really beautiful.
It was a sunset all the way around. The thunderstorms in the far distant had a golden hue to them. It was really beautiful. You could see the stars. You could see the prominent planets shining. It wasn't enough time to get all the pictures I wanted to take.
It was very quiet. It's not like in the night. The ocean makes a lot of noise, and during the eclipse was just quiet. Nobody was saying anything about the ocean.
But on the total eclipse, you see the corona, the rim, like you see the colors. Before you just see white light, but then you see the red and the yellow all around it. It was really cool.
The pearls of Baily were very visible now, and the other time it was not so visible.
Saw some shadow banding though.
Shadow banding was very good.
I saw God.
You know, I had to keep telling myself not to spend all the time taking pictures, to step back and look at it too.
I think I definitely missed just a little bit, worrying about film changes, cameras, just too much.
Oh gosh, everybody's gonna think I'm weird. Just close your eyes and you think of the universe and how everything comes together and just covers. It's just outrageously awesome.
It took me off this Earth. It gave me the grand perspective. It got me in touch with that universal solar system sort of thing, like that the Earth is just a small place and people get caught up in the little Earth reality. It took me off the Earth and to realize the Earth in the place of the solar system, and then for that point, the universe. That was wonderful.
That you had to be there, just the electrical charge. It's like a concert, a live concert, just everybody, just all at once, just shouting and screaming was excellent.
It was breathtaking. It made me feel like I wanted to cry.
And I'm depressed right now. I mean, I feel it's let down. It's over. Well, I mean, where's the next one? You know, let's do it again.
I'm going to the 1992 eclipse.
Europe in '99, isn't it?
Yeah, we can go to India. That would be fun.
India would be great, yeah. I'd like that.
Anywhere it is, I'll go. To the ends of the earth.
We were ready to.
Yeah, we're ready to go chase another one, definitely.
I think I want another one.
Right now on TV, I'm watching how in Nayarit, the eclipse beginning. Yeah, it's beginning. The corona is showing now. It's so beautiful. I want to see it again. That's incredible.
La luna.
I'm ready for the next one.
Luego tapó la luna sol. Y bien el anillo de diamantes y luego vi la corona.
Well, it was all I expected. It was certainly worthwhile coming all this way and waiting 60 years for. The corona was something that the normal prints of the corona you see do not convey. The actual living quality, the enormous bursts of gas, I suppose, and that diamond ring effect was very, very obvious. Yes, it was certainly worthwhile coming. I'll come again to the next one, I think.
It's so full of power. You're facing nature and you're overwhelmed by nature. And you're part of it.
It was a very eerie feeling. It was very strange that the Martians were going to land. Something was very strange. The light was incredible.
The transitions, which is the elusive moment that I was trying to get, I got maybe 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4. We'll have to see.
It was this one got the second diamond ring. This one got both coming and going.
But the whole thing and the weather and no clouds, I mean, it couldn't have been better, really.
My husband's interested in everything astronomical, and he wanted to see it, so naturally I'm going to see it too. And it was quite an experience. I was tickled to death to be here.
Well, I think that it's going to really turn the astronomical world on its ear.
Much more spectacular than what I expected. Also more mysterious. I don't know why, but the fact that all of a sudden the light goes blink and the ocean changed colors and the horizon became so light was really something very, very, I don't know, how should I say it, very innate, you know, something very profound. And after it was over, then everybody changed. I felt that everyone talked in a much, much lower tone of voice. and seemed very calm, which is very unusual, because there was such an uproar before the eclipse, or while it was taking place, and then afterwards everyone quieted down. So maybe it's something very primitive reaction, no, that one has to anything that is celestial, no?
I suddenly started feeling things happening in the atmosphere quite independent of the group, and I found myself leaving the group in my mind and suddenly being aware of something happening. And I said, "Look, this is happening right now. This is the shadow coming." And suddenly there was like a darkness that came, but not with a clear line from in front of me. I thought there would be a very clear demarcation of light and dark. But suddenly it was kind of in front of me and around me and on top of me, and I suddenly was encompassed. And I felt this thing coming over me almost irresistibly. And I said to myself, this is probably what it feels like to die. I mean, there's something happening. I can't stop it from happening. It's consuming me and occupying me, and it was very enjoyable, actually.
Within hours of totality, thousands of visitors are on their way home, still marveling at what they've experienced.
Hey, came to see the big shadow. Beautiful.
It gave you goosebumps. It brought tears to your eyes. You thought about perhaps maybe where you were in the world, your insignificance, and brought out a little bit of humility.
Those who missed it today missed something that will never happen in their lifetime again.
They say it's one of the longest we may ever see, but it was too short.
The shadow of the moon has come and gone, and life in La Paz returns to normal. As the waves roll in and birds return to their nests, people talk about the Great Eclipse and the day when they saw two sunsets, one in the west and the other all around them.